Okay. So I had a bunch of notes for all of these slides, but I transferred my presentation to PowerPoint, so I don't have any notes. So I'm flying blind. My name is Tim Conkling, and the topic of my talk is project management for solo indies. So some very quick background. I left my job as a programmer and game designer at a local game company about 9 months ago. And I have been working at home alone since then for 9 months. And project management is something that I feel strongly about, not because I like it, because I really don't like it, but because I have seen tons and tons of time get wasted due to bad project management. And now that I'm working alone and I don't have a paycheck, my incentive to reduce waste is like really increased. The other thing is that like most people, when I am alone and I don't have other people to be accountable to, it's very easy for me to get distracted. So anyway, working from home is hard. Basically, like the two premises, or two of the premises that this microtalk is based on are number one, that game development is not always fun, right? So like there is necessarily like a ton of really boring bullshit that you have to do when you're developing a game. And if you're the only person developing a game, then it falls to you to do absolutely all of that bullshit. There's no handing it off to somebody else. So like as a programmer, I really don't like doing UI stuff, right? Nobody likes that. And I also don't like project management, but it turns out like that's something I have to do. The second premise is that game development can be really hard, right? So I don't know where Tim is. There he is. Tim was just talking about how there's this like sort of cycle of feeling great about a game and feeling depressed, and I go through this all the time. And it's like one of the hardest parts of game development. It's not just since being solo. I felt this like at my paying job when I was a designer there. I would periodically go through these like immense crises of faith where I'd wake up one morning after having felt that the game I was working on was great, and it would I'd feel like it was now shit for whatever reason, and that there's like it took an emotional toll, right? So. The third premise is that I am really bad at staying on task. Obviously, everybody here is human, so I assume that we can all like relate to this. But basically, like the things that are really important, I think, about project management and about getting shit done, regardless on any project, regardless of whether it's games related or not, are you want to basically limit distractions, right? And so distractions are, again, I feel like I'm going to say a lot of obvious things, but I'm just going to let that slide. So distractions are really hurt you, especially when you're working at home, because like there's every game on Steam to play, and there's like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's like a lot of pornography on the internet to look at. And like there are all these things that can keep you, from like doing what you need to do. Accountability also, this is like a big part of good project management. When you're on a team, you have a group of other people that you're accountable to, and that sort of like external motivation helps. Sorry. Are you picking up all my chest hair? Okay. I do. I'll take it out. So accountability is something that's also sort of like difficult to come across when you're working at home alone. And finally, and I think maybe like for me at least, most importantly, like task prioritization is something, again, that's like a key part of like a well-managed project. And it's something that is more difficult to do when you are alone. And what I mean by task prioritization is basically like making sure that what you're working on is in service of like making a good game rather than making you feel good. So again, as a programmer, I have a lot of fun like building new systems, and I have almost no fun wiring up a UI. But if I don't prioritize wiring up that UI, then I won't get a build out, and I won't have something play testable, and I won't get the feedback that I need. So really, really briefly, like this is going to be sort of old news, I think, for probably everybody here. But I just want to like talk briefly about my own personal approach to project management. I premise my project management basically on milestones. And when I say milestone, I mean like a playable build that of the game that I'm working on that is created to sort of like test a specific hypothesis. Like is this system that I just created fun? Is this UI that I just wired together and had a boring time doing, is it like is it usable for players? And so what I do when I'm working on a game is I plan out my next milestone, my next playable build, and I plan it with basically my play testers in mind. And so a brief aside, the play testers that I'm planning for at this point in my project, so like I'm in the prototype phase with my project right now, and I meet with a couple people who are also indie developers, and we meet weekly. We have a Skype video chat on Mondays. Two of those developers are here right now, and we do the sort of like normal like stand-up talk that you might do at a game development studio, where you say, here's what I did last time we checked in, which in our case is weekly rather than daily, and here's what I'm going to do. And so that there's some accountability that's sort of built into that process. So again, when I'm planning my milestone, I'm planning it around playtests that I want to do with my playtesters, who right now are essentially a very, very small group of other designers that I trust, and also who are following me through the development process, and I'm doing the same for them. The second thing about milestones is that they are small and focused. So like sometimes this is hard to do, but I really don't want to like pile too much shit into a milestone, because keeping a milestone small and focused means that you have essentially less feedback to act on when you're done with the playtest, which is a good thing. And so the key to keeping it small and focused for me is to basically like come up with a plan. Here's a system I want to test with playtesters, and then break it up into small tasks. So this shit is really boring. So okay. So now it's getting to the more interesting part. There are like a billion task tracking softwares out there, and the one that I use is this thing called Pivotal Tracker, and it's a web-based task management software, and it's essentially just sort of like a glorified task list. By the way, it's free if you're like a solo developer, and it's built around this sort of like agile development methodology, which I don't really care that much about development methodologies, but like there is a very nice property about agile development methodologies and Pivotal Tracker in particular that I want to highlight as sort of the purpose of this talk. So anyway, this is all leading up to something awesome. Pivotal Tracker is what I use to do my milestone planning. So this is like a screenshot of like tasks that were at the top of my my task list this morning when I took this screenshot. And the tasks themselves aren't very interesting, but like again, this is pretty basic, but like just note that this is a task list. These are like things that I need to do. Also note, this is a prioritized task list. I have decided for whatever reason that like getting my A-star, pathfinding in is like higher priority than getting the direct damage spell in. And then the most important thing to notice is that there are these little blue bars next to each task, and those blue bars are point values that are assigned to each task. So in like a lot of agile development methodologies, you basically break your your project down into or your milestone down into tasks, and you assign point values to those tasks based on how long you think those tasks are going to take. Okay, so that's the background. Okay, so this is the key right here. Basically, Pivotal Tracker or any other software that tracks this sort of thing will keep track of your completion velocity, which is basically like a running average of the number of points that you complete per week or whatever your whatever your sort of like sprint time is. And what this does for me is it essentially gamifies the task completion process. And this is like, so gamification, right, not so good for I don't know, like lots of like web products. It's not, gamification has a deservedly bad rep, but when it comes to like basically making sure that you stay on task and get shit done, like for me at least, the gamification of my milestone development through Pivotal Tracker makes a huge difference. So basically, the way this works for me is I see that my velocity is 33 points, which means that I'm completing whatever 33 points means for my project on average every week. And if I fall below that average, I feel bad about myself. And if I beat that average, I feel good about myself. So this is basically like a high score that I really want to beat every week. And every single time that I tick off one of these tasks, there is the little ego boost that comes from like basically having just scored points. So I don't think there's anything else for me to say. Yeah. Oh, I had a very funny movie, but I'm out of time, and also this is PowerPoint, so you can't see it. But anyway, yeah, so the point is gamification using point values for your tasks makes life as a solo developer easier. All right, thank you.